Hi, my name is Avert, and this is episode 14 of my series for building time tracking application using Hypermedia, React, and TypeScript. Um, so in the last episode, the last two episodes I've been working on this interface that creates basically a list of entries per day. And in the last episode, we also changed this so you can uh, make changes to these entries, and after 5 seconds of no clicks, they automatically get saved. Um, in this episode, one thing I'd like to accomplish is to allow users to add a new entry here in the bottom. So let's get started. Oh, and just general housekeeping is if you are watching this on YouTube later, then in the description of the video you can find links to the pull requests. So if you want to read along with the code I'm writing, you can find it there. Let's see. Let's find my terminal. And check out the main branch. Cool. This is the source for the front end. The component I'm looking for is the, let's see, what is it called? The entry day component. So the entry day component pertains to this entire day. And inside the component, inside this file, there's a smaller component for every item. So this is an example of this component. It's getting pretty long. Is one row in this table. So what I want to do is, like, there's a couple of different ways where you can kind of implement these sort of interfaces. One would be just add a plus button that adds another row. Could do a new row on a different page, but instead what I would like to do is I basically want to make the experience of entering new entries and editing them to be mostly identical. So I'm actually just going to add just another row that's empty, and then when you start typing, as soon as we can, we'll try to save it. So it's going to be a bit interesting because we have this entry day item, and basically what we want is the new version of this. So one that doesn't already have all these values preset, and there is a way to do that with use resource. Use resource is the hook that we're using here. Use resource is responsible for pulling in data automatically, but also lets you update the data and resubmit it. So I think I'm thinking, so there's a way to do this with getting where you can use resource to create new entries. So maybe that's the way to do that here. Yeah. Sorry, I'm just also kind of thinking out loud. Because the trick is that this basically needs to start off as an empty component, but as soon as possible it changes into a real component. So let me just see. Sorry, I'm still thinking out loud. Okay, one thing that kind of makes sense to me is we can just kind of test this out. So I'm just going to copy this. Just see what would happen if I modify one of these to be specific for creating new entries. So entry day item new. There we go. So the biggest difference is that instead of passing a normal resource, Actually, I'm just gonna keep on going with kind of the approach that I have here. So I'm just gonna keep this. So the biggest difference for new entries is that with use resource, here we just passed a resource. Sorry, we passed the resource. So this refers to an existing entry. And for a new entry, you can do something like this: mode post. I think. Okay. So we are getting an error, so let's see if TypeScript can give us some better errors for this. Oh, initial state is missing. So let's add initial state. Okay, it's used as a Okay, let's see how this works in the source. Base state, I think is the one I'm supposed to use. Yeah, let's try that out. Okay, cool. Okay, I've never done this before. I hope this works. I also need to get a client. I feel like there's easier ways to do this. Does this make sense? Okay, I'll keep trying this for now. What else does it want? It wants URI. So URI is weird because we don't have a URI because this is basically a completely new entry. So I wonder if this works. It's gonna have to find out. Data, so this is the actual data that's in here. So let's take a look at the API. What kind of data should be in there? Person, entry. Okay, so you got description, date, minutes, billable. Okay, so some good stuff here. Minutes, how about 60? Billable, true. Date, we should get that from the properties. So instead of resource, I'm going to call this parent resource because that's really what this is about. So we want to get a date, so I'm going to assume that it's going to be a looks-on datetime object. And we can skip create that and modify that. And description. Okay, yeah. Okay, cool. So minutes, billable, date. Take it from props. What else? Description, empty for now. And this looks good. It's missing headers and links. Okay, let's add those two. No headers. Oh wow. Caught deadly signal abort. That doesn't happen a lot. My Vim crashed. At least it says it preserved files. That's good. Double signal. Okay. Let's see if it actually preserved my file. I hope so. Recover. Okay, here we go. This is where we left off. Props the parent resource. Headers, gonna keep empty. Oh, it needs to be headers object, so it looks like this. What else? I think links was the next one. It needs to be a links object. What kind of links do we want? We want person, that's me, and project and client we don't care about right now. So person we do. So let's do props dot person resource. Oh wait, this should be something like, this is probably an array of links. Props dot. So usually how I work is I try to write as much code as possible, and once I kind of think the general structure should be okay, then I kind of go through all the errors, and then by the time all the errors are resolved, usually things work. But yeah, we'll see if that's the case now, because this is a bit new to me. So yeah. Okay. New links wants to have a string, and that's probably the context. So let's create this links thing separate. Cannot find a person. Oh, it's a new entry. It's likely entry new. 164. So date needs to be a string. So we should just use the a formatter for this. Can I do date to JS date to ISO date? That's probably it. Oh, that wants to be a It's a function. Billable is misspelled. Okay, where are we now? Entry new is missing the following: modified at and created at. Oh, I thought we left those out of the new variants. Wait a minute. This one needs to be entry new. And now the last one is the entry day item new is not used anywhere. That's correct, because we haven't actually placed this whole entire component is not placed on the page yet. So here we're looping through the existing entries. And we want to add the new item below, not in a loop. Okay, this one needs a whole bunch of properties. Let's see if we can make it happen. Okay, so first it needs parent resource, and we should have access to that here. Yeah, that's just props that resource in this case. Next, oops, this looks a bit better. The date. Should also just be here. And then the third one is person resource. So we don't have that right now, but I wonder, can we easily get access to that? I guess one way to do that is for the parent to pass it. It's not the ideal way, I would say. I think it's even nicer if this one can just figure it out from here. But I'm not going to do that. Person resource is resource person. Cool. And now that new property is missing from the parent. That should also be an easy fix. Let's, while we're here, let's make this read a little bit better. I think that's everything. Okay, let's see. Did it work? I have no idea. Okay, well, that works. At least it renders something new. Oof, okay. Okay, it's not letting me make any changes. Ooh. A link with rel project must be provided. Well, they're not wrong. Okay, maybe, okay, so I have a pretty strong feeling that the use resource statement that I just used with post just doesn't work well enough right now. I'm gonna keep trying for a little bit, but it's not looking great. Because even this resource state that's set, if I change this, it should actually create the link, but it doesn't seem like it actually happened. And none of the links are in here actually. Worse. It's even worse. Okay. Okay, so this is probably broken currently. So, okay, I'll just change this, fix this in a different way. So I will fix this by not using use resource at all. Let's remove the delayed submit stuff. All of these work differently now. So it would be data, dot description equals description. And then, oh, we can do this in one go. Set resource state, dot, data, description. And it should be set data. Set project. Okay, I don't have an answer for that right now. I think I'll do a separate thing for that. Okay, I think I'm gonna stop recording this because I don't think this is make for a good episode, especially because I ran into these issues and I feel like fixing this correctly is going to be not a super fun rabbit hole. I'll just keep it on for now and see how far it goes, but maybe I'll never upload this. Did I accidentally delete the Luxon import? Yep. Okay, minutes, 60, description, empty. What else do you want? Date. Billable. Okay. So strip the entire component from all the getting stuff, which means, unfortunately, that I think we need an explicit submit. Okay, one thing I'd like to add here too is I don't want it to default to the first project in the list. Instead, I'd like it to show something like, please select a project. So let's take a look at that project component. So if this boolean is provided or it's set to true, then I'd like the select to render an extra thing, which is just an empty option. I think it'd be nice. But I guess I only need to render that option if a user hasn't selected anything yet. And maybe not, I don't need to do it on subsequent renders. So props.show select project. And props.value is not set. And let's just do this for now. I think this is fine. So option value is nothing, so skip that. Can I do disabled? And then for key is empty, and just wanted to show this select project. I really like these standard select components because there's going to be a lot of places where a user will have to select a project, and this basically lets me reuse, build this component once and reuse it everywhere. It shows it, but it skips over it because I guess because it's disabled. How do people do that? Maybe it can't be disabled. Can I make it like cursive or something? That would be nice. Object. Huh. Interesting. So I guess nothing can go inside. I'm assuming I can do some style. It's going to do a quick inline style. Or wait, maybe Bootstrap has a style for this. Can I do selected? Selected disabled? Is that weird? Because that would be perfect. Yes. Okay, great. That's what I want. Okay, yeah, so the drawback of this approach is that now if I want to, let's see, I'll actually have to render a submit button because I don't have a good way to basically convert this component to a normal entry component. And yeah, so I think I'm gonna have to do that. So let's just work on that right now. And that's going to be very temporary until the next episode, I guess. I think Bootstrap wants class name button. Not 100% certain about that actually. Let's find out. Components, buttons. There you go. Class BTN. And I guess we want BTN primary for this case. See if I can just wrap a form around this entire row. Is this legal? I don't know. But now I can do it on submit. Okay. So what do we want to do is first prevent default, I guess. Let's just hack that in here. It's a bit easier because we just have inferred typing and I never know how to type these things. So what we want to do is we're going to grab the parent component, parent resource. So parent resource refers to this collection. And on this collection, we are going to do a post request. So post follow is the correct method for this because we're going to post something and then the API is going to respond with a 201 and a location header. And we want to follow whatever that location header is to the new resource. Actually, in this case, post might be enough because we don't actually care to find out what resource was created. So what should go in here? Data. And that should just be data plus a link, which is a project. And that's the how link. So this feels like a hack to me. It's definitely not perfect. Because normally with getting, you don't have to ever think about the data format or with a wire. You just think about properties and links. But yeah, this appears to be a bit of a blind spot. Cool, so after we post it, and assuming it's successful, because if it's not, it would throw an error, then nothing. Then cool. I think actually we just want to reset this. Set these two to their initial state so another one can be entered. So I want to make sure that these are required. This is nonsensical. It's just easier to copy paste the whole block because I only need part of it. Okay. The last thing I want to do is I want this box to automatically refresh if there was an update. You can do that with use collection. So the reason this works is because when we do a post request on this collection, in getting we know that the client knows that if you do a post request on any resource, then the cache of that resource can no longer is probably no longer correct. So what this refresh and still statement does is that when that happens, so when the collection is stale, it automatically will go and fetch new data. So all in all, the way this should work now is that if I enter something or press the submit button, it should refresh these collections, and after refresh, it should render a new empty one, and also have a dedicated row for a new entry. I have no idea if this will work, but okay. Well, this is not a good start. It's funny. Yeah, so my component doesn't even show up now. I'm going to spend some time cleaning up all these errors. But not today. Where is the error? Oh. React does not recognize the show select project on a DOM element. Interesting. Oh, I know why, because I need to extract this property from here. Didn't make a difference. Form cannot appear as an element of T-body. Okay, that was my original worry with this. It's nice that it detects that. That's probably only because of my lack of cleanliness with all the fixing all the other errors that came up that made this an issue. Also feel like we have more renders than necessary. I don't know. Let's see if I can do a little profiling. Okay, good. There were no renderings between there. Okay. Okay. Select project. Test project for 1 hour. Let's do 2.5. 13 is the unlucky one, I guess. Okay. 13, test project. That needs to reset, but that's fine. It worked. That's very good. So I think, because I selected test project 4 here and I went for time tracking, let's take a look and see if it should have been test project 4 here. So I don't know why this one's wrong. I think I have a feeling that these don't, or ignore whatever I selected, because they're suspiciously all on these 3. Yeah, okay, that's fine. Cool. I think, okay, this was another chaotic episode. I think I am gonna stop here. I think I have a bunch of stuff I want to work on, and I'm gonna do that probably offline, and it includes cleaning up all these errors. Interesting. What's this? Okay, this looks like some add-on. Unrelated to my problem. So yeah, there's a bunch of errors in the console. I don't want to see if I can fix the use resource bug. And I'm also not happy with how this interface looks like right now. So I think I need a little bit more time offline to think about what is the right next step and kind of fix some of those plumbing issues before I continue. So thank you for watching, and maybe see you next time.